try. You won't get me just like that. But it ain't easy to begin when the waves are coming in. I won't fall into your trap. I won't fall into your trap. You won't get me just like that. I won't fall into your trap.
Where some see waste, we see potential. Where some see rubbish, we see beauty. And where some just see scraps and leftovers, we see the beginning of something new. Because we're changing fashion, starting with the things that used to be thrown away. So from now on, let's wear the waste.
According to Extinction Rebellion, H&M is guilty of greenwashing of their brand. They accuse H&M for greenwashing with the promotion of their conscious product line. As we have seen, H&M promotes the conscious line a lot, while in fact a really small part of all the products offered by H&M are actually consciously produced. With this conscious product line, H&M profiles itself as a sustainable brand, while it produces every 24 hours more fast fashion than it can recycle in 12 years. Extinction Rebellion sees the conscious product line as nothing more than a drop in the ocean. It is just a cheap way to maximize the green and sustainable image of H&M.
H&M might be collecting your old clothes, more than 55,000 tons so far. But if they're barely making new clothes from your donations, where do they all go? These shoppers have a theory.
Notice someone locally in our community in need. But in the era of fast fashion, there's far more unwanted clothes than there are people in need.
The Salvation Army knows all about that. Remember, this is all the stuff they can't sell at their stores. He says this happens regularly, right behind the market, discarding and burning clothes Canadians don't want, and neither do Kenyans.
Buy and they give it away, the clothing. They use it maybe 1, 2, 3 times, and they buy new clothing. You know, this is a big difference. This country is a big difference with other countries.
Those flea markets look like this. Tons of unwanted clothes from developed nations like the US getting resold for cheap.
Buying clothes has never been easier. 80 billion items are manufactured every year.
We're putting too much product out there, most of that product ending up in landfill.
So-called fast fashion allows consumers to buy more, but they're wearing these garments less often and disposing of them at an unprecedented rate. In Britain, more than 300,000 tons of clothes end up in landfill every year. It's the fastest growing category of waste in the country.
Greenwashing is conveying a false impression that a company or its products are more environmentally sound than they really are. In the ad from H&M, they're trying to give you the impression that H&M is green, although little is true. Much of the image they create is misleading. Their conscious label is a form of a misleading label, which is in the top 5 most used greenwashing mechanisms. According to Norway's Consumer Authority, H&M is unable to back up their sustainable claims. As H&M are not giving the consumer precise information about why these clothes are labeled conscious, we conclude that consumers are being given the impression that these products are more sustainable than they actually are. In their advertisement, H&M is showing the conscious label in a green environment with a lot of nature, although this is already way too overdone when compared to the explanation and practices of their conscious label. Although the idea of using more eco-friendly products and processes in your organization is great, the way H&M is advertising with it is not good. As you can see, using this form of advertisement in combination with not being completely transparent and clear about their conscious product line can lead to protests such as in Amsterdam. Once your company is in the spiral of negative media attention, it's hard to get out and it can lead to image damage in the long term. First of all, companies need to change their values and mindset. In order to effectively implement sustainable fashion and CSR policies, they have to be truly engaged with this purpose by, for example, training the designers in sustainable thinking or educating the customers to buy sustainable clothes. Second, H&M should invest more in recycling. Although H&M has the first in-store recycling system, it needs more machines working around the world to decrease the fashion and textile pollution in a higher pace. Third, it takes around 400 years for a t-shirt to biodegrade. Companies need to start considering the life cycle of the products when designing. Designers can, for example, use recycled materials in their products, as well as upcycling techniques in their product line. And finally, H&M should use organic materials. Cotton is one of the largest fiber groups in the world and grows with huge amount of pesticides that impact our environment. One solution would be to use organic cotton. Although this type of cotton can be slightly more expensive, it grows without the use of pesticides.